Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 117, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying our NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. This week's banner, Neepawa Banner and Press, is dated Friday, January the 21st. And on the front page, there is a wonderful new hotel that is being planned for Neepawa. Signage has gone up on the south end of the former CN property, confirming a new Best Western Plus hotel will be built in Neepawa. Several new housing units are shown under construction in the background. By Owen Devereaux. A major business venture that has been rumored for Neepawa for quite some time is going to become a reality. A consortium of local business leaders has confirmed to the Banner and Press that they will be opening a Best Western Plus hotel within the community. The current plan is for construction on the southern portion of the former CN property to start in the spring and be completed in the fall of 2023. The property size is 375 feet by 579 feet. Which would be an estimated 217,125 square feet. The building design has been developed by Excel Engineering and will feature up to 67 rooms and a pool with a water slide. A convention center will also be added at a later date. There will be no restaurant built within the hotel as there are several food venues close by. However, a breakfast/common gathering area is being planned. The current expectations is that the hotel will be able to operate with between 12 to 16 total staff. Additional information on the specific construction dates will likely be made public in the near future. The consortium backing the hotel is made up of a large group of local individuals. In a statement to the Banner and Press, the contingent stated that a painstaking amount of examination has gone on to determine if a hotel of this size was viable for this community. They believe that such a development is not only viable, but needed. A feasibility study was commissioned by the group that determined the viability of the hotel project as presented. Both 60 and 80 room scenarios were explored with COVID-19 factored in. There is also the need for the other accommodation venues to balance the traffic flow, allowing for larger and more frequent locally hosted events, stated the consortium via media statement. And it goes on to say, the group involved with bringing the Best Western Plus to the community also indicated that they believe Neepawa is positioned at the hub of a large rural service area with highways 5 and 16 servicing our community that have both been designated as major economic trade routes by the province of Manitoba. As for why they decided to go with the Best Western Plus hotel chain, they noted that the Best Western membership is very supportive and maintains high quality standards, and that the brand as a whole is well regarded with travelers. Neepawa Mayor Blake McCutcheon was excited about the news and told the Banner and Press that a chain such as Best Western sees value in establishing itself within the community. He said it's exciting to see a big franchise like Best Western recognizing that Neepawa is a town of the future. They see us as a place where they want to put a hotel. But You know what is really good about this is that it's being put together with local investment. This is a case where local people are stepping up and wanting to be a part of this project. Best Western has over 4,700 hotels and resorts worldwide, including 9 in Manitoba. Exciting. Premier Stephenson announces new PC cabinet. Manitoba Premier Heather Stephenson has shuffled the Progressive Conservative government's cabinet. On Tuesday, January the 18th, Stephenson announced a new cabinet with 17 ministers. Agassiz MLA Eileen Clark is back in the cabinet as she will serve as the Minister of Municipal Relations. Clark is a former Minister of Indigenous and Northern Relations, but stepped down from that post in 2020. The other cabinet members are as follows. Audrey Gordon, MLA for Southdale, is now the Minister of Health. Sarah Gillimard of Fort Richmond is now the Minister of Mental Health and Community Wellness. Scott Johnson from Assiniboia is now the Minister of Seniors and Long-Term Care. Doyle Pimnuck of Turtle Mountain is now the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure. Andrew Smith of La Jamodier is now the Minister of Sport, Culture and Heritage. Eileen Clark of Agassiz is now the Minister of Municipal Relations. Rochelle Squires of Riel is now the Minister of Families, Francophone Affairs, Status of Women and Accessibility. Alan Lajamodier of Selkirk is now the Minister of Indigenous Reconciliation. Cliff Cullen of Spruce Woods is now the Deputy Premier and Minister of Economic Development, Investment and Trade. Kelvin Gertsen of Steinbach is the Minister of Justice and Attorney General and Minister responsible for Manitoba Public Insurance and Government House Leader. Cameron Friesen of Morden Winkler is now the Minister of Finance and Minister responsible for Manitoba Hydro. Scott Fielding of Kirkfield Park is now the Minister of Natural Resources and Northern Development and Minister responsible for the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries Corporation. Jeff Wharton of Red River North is now the Minister of Environment, Climate and Parks and Minister responsible for Efficiency Manitoba. Reg Helwer of Brandon West is now the Minister of Labour, Consumer Protection and Government Services, also Minister responsible for the Public Utilities Board and the Minister responsible for the Civil Service. Wayne Ewasco of Lac du Bonny is now the Minister of Education and Early Childhood Learning. Derek Johnson of Interlake Gimli is now the Minister of Agriculture. And finally, John Rays of Waverley is now the Minister of Advanced Education, Skills and Immigration. The next article is entitled Labour Woes Strike Neepawa by Owen Devereaux. More and more businesses in Neepawa are feeling the effects of a sudden and significant labour shortage. Over the past 2 weeks, some businesses have altered their hours of availability to the general public. One of the most visible examples of this can be seen at the Neepawa Post Office. On Monday, January 17th, people coming to the building to pick up their mail were greeted with a sign on their door stating, "Due to unforeseen circumstances, this post office is closed until further notice." The office remained closed Monday and Tuesday, but reopened to the public on Wednesday. The Banner and Press attempted to get a response from representatives of the post office on this unexpected closure. We received no official comment on the reason for the change. Another example of the sudden shortage has been seen at the Neepawa Gladstone Co-op food store, which shortened its store hours as of Tuesday, January the 18th. Instead of their normal 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. schedule, the food store will now close at 6 p.m. This change is not a permanent one, and the co-op does plan to return to full-time hours once all staff are available. The largest business in Neepawa has also apparently seen some changes to its operation recently. Rumors had been circulating throughout the community that High Life had been forced to reduce its schedule down to a single shift due to a large contingent of staff out sick. The Banner Press reached out to the company to find out just what was actually happening. Stacey Ashley, the Public Relations and Communications Manager, responded to the inquiry. She said, as a critical business, High Life is committed to continuously evolving and adjusting to ensure our workplaces are healthy and safe. Our Neepawa plant remains in operation. It is not uncommon to adjust shifts for a number of reasons. Like all companies, navigating employee absences during this pandemic has become a reality. We have been extremely careful, investing in a medical team and numerous additional measures, including supporting staff to stay home as a precaution. The staff shortages are not just a Neepawa phenomenon, as all of Manitoba is dealing with the same thing. In a recent media release, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business in Manitoba said workplaces across the board, especially within hospitality, are struggling with staffing shortages. They are citing the Omicron variant of COVID-19 as an exacerbating circumstance. No local businesses have officially cited COVID-19 as the reason for the recent changes. Now, Rotary donates freezer to Neepawa Middle School by Kira Patterson. The Neepawa Middle School, NMS, has been gradually accumulating the various furnishings and equipment needed since they opened in 2020. As a brand new school, they opened with only the basics, so various donations and support from organizations have helped them fill in the gaps. Most recently, the Neepawa Rotary Club has donated a freezer to NMS. At a cost of approximately $300, the freezer was purchased from Neepawa Home Hardware, as Rotary wants to support local in any way they can. Vice Principal Sherry Hollier noted that this is something that's been on their wish list since opening. Rotary has helped supply NMS with other equipment in the past, and she noted that when they approached the school recently to ask what their next need was, a freezer was high on their list. The freezer will be well used in the school. We pre-buy some frozen lunches so that we have some on hand for when kids forget their lunches or parents aren't able to provide lunches, said Hollier. She added that they will also use the freezer to store treats for fun days, classroom parties, prizes, and more, as well as having ice packs on hand in case of any injuries. Wayne Jacobsen, president of the local Rotary Club, noted that this donation coincides perfectly with one of the club's main focuses. One of the strategic focuses of Rotary is the reduction or elimination of child poverty, he explained. He noted that they are always looking for ways to work with the local schools and with the Neepawa Community Ministry Center to help with that goal. So when they reached out to NMS to see how they could help, this project aligned perfectly. The freezer does fall under our focus of reducing child poverty, Jacobsen stated. We're very supportive of the support that Rotary has given, expressed Hollier, with this freezer and with donations in the past and the future, as I know they will continue to support us. And here we have a picture. On January 17th, Neepawa Rotary presented the Neepawa Middle School with a new freezer. Here we have Rotary President Wayne Jacobsen, School Vice Principal Sherry Hollier, students Sophia Edibus and Siri Warwick, Rotarian Murray Newton there in the back, students Nolan Kodak and Ian Foster, and the school principal Val Perieski. Now we have a 2021 update at the Langford Recreational Trails by Kathy Jacobsen. Can never say that name. Langford Recreational Trails had a very busy year in 2021. We had hikers, joggers, and fat bikers from many parts of the world. We have a sign-in ledger to try and keep track of the numbers of people using the trails, but not everyone signs in. Checking out the numbers of people that did sign in, we had a total of 1,132 people on the trails year, which is phenomenal. Manitoba had 22 from the Parkland area, Dauphin, Gilbert Plains, Erickson, Binsgarth, 73 from Brandon and area, Brandon, Boissevain, Douglas, Justice, Forest, Birtle, 3 from the Interlake, Woodlands and Arborg, 84 from Portage and area, Portage, Ely, Woodside and Holland, 35 from Carberry and area, like Carberry, Sydney, Austin, McGregor, Balder, 91 from Winnipeg and area, Winnipeg, LaSalle, St. Malo, St. Adolphe, Morris, East St. Paul, Beconia, 630 from Neepawa and area, Neepawa, Brookdale, McCreary, Burnie, Laurier, Arden, Plumas, Eden, Gladstone, and Minnedosa. We had 27 people on the trails from elsewhere in Canada: British Columbia, Surrey, Alberta, Calgary, and Stony Plain, Saskatchewan from Humboldt, Ontario from Guelph, Caledon, Ottawa, and Toronto, and Quebec, Montreal, Quebec, Baie-Comeau. Internationally, there were 9 hikers. From the USA, there was Independence, Illinois, Sacramento, California. Hikers from Vietnam, Phu Quoc Island. From the UK, Stone Market, and from the Netherlands. We also had 3 large groups use the trails in September and October. 37 students from William Morton Collegiate in Gladstone, 60 participating in the Zone 7 Cross-Country Championship, and 70 for the Down Syndrome Walk. A scavenger hunt took place from March 27th to April 3rd, which attracted quite a few children. Some comments from them in the sign-in book were 8 items, too cold for worms and insects. No worms today, but got everything else. And the last was great scavenger hunt. We found 11 things. We're so pleased with the terrific comments people left in the ledger that we would like to list a sample written during the hiking season. In April, someone from Brandon wrote, "What a gem, I will be back." In May, someone from Guelph wrote, "Really great marking from Main Road, Highway 16 to the trail. Great place to stretch your legs and pause." In June, someone from Winnipeg said, "Best Father's Day walk ever." In July, someone from Baie-Comeau, Quebec said, "Well maintained, bravo." And from Woodside, someone commented, "Great place, thank you, keep it up." In August, someone from Arden commented, "Gorgeous as usual." In September, someone from Montreal wrote, "Enchanting." And from Arborg, someone wrote, "Excellent, very impressed with what has been done here." In October, someone from Gladstone said, "We saw a snake." From Stone Market, UK, "So enjoyed your wonderful trails, took lots of pictures of the fall colors." And from Toronto and the Netherlands, people wrote, "Lovely trail system and very informative welcome signs." In November, somebody from Portage La Prairie wrote, "Beautiful, well maintained." We would like to remind everyone that the trails through the bush are open and packed for snowshoeing and fat bike use all winter. A big thank you to all the users for respecting this beautiful and unique area by keeping it clean and pristine for the enjoyment of all. All right, so next, oh brother, I'm having troubles here. we have the Spruce Plains RCMP report by Corporal Jacob Stanton. During the week of January 10th to the 16th, Spruce Plains RCMP dealt with 40 police activities. On January the 10th, RCMP received a report of theft of fuel from a fuel tank at a residence in the municipality of Westlake Gladstone. There was insufficient evidence to proceed further. Police responded to a traffic collision that occurred in a parking lot in Neepawa, where a vehicle backed into another and then into the business's building. Tickets were issued to the driver at fault for careless driving and for failing to provide required information. On January 11th, RCMP responded to 2 alarm calls, one residential in Minnedosa and a commercial alarm in Neepawa. Both alarms were determined to be false. On January 12th, RCMP received a report of a stolen phone from a business in Minnedosa. The suspect was located and detained, but did not have the phone in their possession. There was insufficient evidence to proceed further. On January 13th, RCMP responded to a traffic hazard complaint in the RM of North Cypress, Langford, where a tow truck was already on scene assisting the broken down vehicle. Police received a report of threats being uttered over social media in Minnedosa and conducted a well-being check on a Minnedosa resident. On January 14th, RCMP received an anonymous report that an unlicensed driver was heading towards Minnedosa. Patrols were made on the highway, but the driver was not located. Police were dispatched to a possible fire at an apartment complex in Neepawa. Police attended and discovered the source of the smoke was a microwave dinner that was put in the microwave for too long. Needless to say, it didn't taste the best. The fire department cleared the building and had no further concerns. On January 15th, RCMP conducted various proactive traffic enforcement, engaging with several motorists. Several tickets were issued for speeding. On January 16th, RCMP received a complaint of a vehicle being taken without the owner's consent in Franklin. The vehicle and the driver were located near Brandon, but there was insufficient evidence to proceed with charges. Police conducted 24 traffic enforcement actions during this reporting period. Now, the Carberry North Cypress Langford section by Gladwin Scott. The community profile this week is on a person named Kylan Aiken. Kylan Aiken, 17 years old, is a member of the Carberry Collegiate graduating class who is a big centerman for the GCB Wildcats hockey team. He is 6'1", 170 pounds, and plays with the Elliott brothers, Peyton and Carter, as wingers. They are great guys, and we have a lot of fun. I call our line the triplets. This is Aiken's 3rd season with the Wildcats, although they played very little last year. We have a great rapport in our dressing room, so that makes our 7 a.m. practices easier. Kylan also enjoys golf and has a new set of clubs. He really likes biology, and his coach, Corey Forbes, stated that Aiken has had a great season so far. He is in the top 10 in the league scoring parade. And here's a picture of Kylan right here with his dad, Darcy, who is a Brandon firefighter. This picture was taken after the Christmas Classic. GCB Wildcats hockey. The Glenborough Carberry Balder Wildcats were sparked by Trey Dixon's 6 goals and 4 from Captain Deegan Campbell in an 18-2 win in Roblin Saturday, January 15th. Dylan Hood sank a pair, and singles were added by Talon Graham, Peyton Elliott, Jaron Waldner, Kylan Aiken, Johnny Myers, Tyler Hood, and Carson Nakanekny. Waldner and Myers recorded 3 assists apiece, while Landon Gunnison had a pair. The visitors outshot Roblin 59-16 and led 6-1 and 11-1 at the intermissions. GCB Wildcats were shut down for a week from January 9th to the 15th, but have a busy week ahead as they host the Vincent Massey Vikings in Carberry on Friday, January 21st at 7 p.m. and the Crocus Plainsmen in Glenboro, Saturday, January 22nd at 7:30 p.m. Then they travel back to the Sportsplex in Brandon on January 23rd to battle the second-place Vincent Massey squad at 5 p.m., followed by a trip to the Yellowhead Center for a contest with the Neepawa Tigers, Wednesday, January 26th at 7:30 p.m. With high school sports being shut down for a week by some divisions, not by Public Health, not by Hockey Manitoba or the MHSAA, some changes were required. The Westman High School Hockey League was extended for 1 week until February 5th to try and make up some games. If the provincials materialize, they will be in Russell, March 10th to the 12th. The Westman League will receive 3 spots, which includes the host team. Westman League teams, if interested, must register by February 1st. And for the Carberry Plainsman update, paced by Garrett Rempel's 5-point performance, including 2 goals, and with 4 assists with Dalen Creasy, the Neepawa Farmers defeated host Carberry Plainsmen 7-2, Friday, January 14th. The Farmers led 3-1 and 6-2 at the intermissions. Plainsman marksmen were Zane McConnell and Brady Laycock, with assists going to Matthias Van de Wasteen and Tyson Cloet. An unfortunate incident involved John Davison when he received a deflected slap shot in the mouth, which involved a trip to the Neepawa Hospital. Scoro winners were Tyler Unger, Tori Scott, and Judy Anderson, while Michelle McMillan won the 50-50. At Gladstone, Saturday, January 15th, Danny Hall recorded the shutout in a 6-0 victory over Carberry. 4 assists were collected by Corey Wilkie, and 3 points went to Graham Leading, as the Lakers led 1-0 and 5-0 at the period breaks. And Gladwin's Here and There article, MHSAA Zone Curling is slated for Neepawa, January 21st to 23rd. The zone winners will advance to the provincials in Hamiota, February 10th to 12th. Cougar rinks include Skip, Dahlia Snaith, Nevaeh Witherspoon, Mallory Lockhart, and McKenna Poitras, who all volunteered their services for the 2022 Manitoba Scotties in Carberry, December 15th to the 19th. The boys' rinks includes Aidan Renwick, Braden Bobier, Matthew Bean, and Miles Steen. Economic Development Officer Alicia Funk reported on the newly organized Carberry and District Chamber of Commerce. She says the Carberry and District Chamber of Commerce is back up and running to support our local businesses. Over the holiday season, the Chamber focused on promoting local shopping. We hosted a shopping day in Carberry on December the 4th with 431 shopping visits and $500 in gift cards won by Kirsten Boyce. Our Support Local video campaign, funded by a grant from the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce, has introduced some of our fabulous businesses. You can check them out on Facebook and Instagram. The newly elected executive committee of Jeff Descender from Frozen Fire Studios, Darren Snyder from Lawns by Larry, Kirsten Balsinius from Rage Salon, and Don Forbes of Forbes Wealth Management would love to hear your ideas for strengthening our business community. The Chamber meets the second Wednesday of every month, and we invite you to join us. Call 834-6616 or email edo@townofcarberry.ca for more info or to join our mailing list. In Manitoba, grade 11 and 12 students require 2 physical education credits. Students need to document 80 hours of physical activity for each credit. For the students involved in sports, it would be easy to list 80 hours practicing or playing football, soccer, volleyball, basketball, hockey, track and field, etc. However, others may be challenged to record walking, jogging, cycling, shoveling snow, etc. To record those hours. The Carberry and Area Community Foundation, serving the town of Carberry and the rural municipalities of North and South Cyprus, has announced the 2022 board members. Chair is Susan Bartow, Vice Chair Ian Dick, Treasurer Jeremy McPhee, Director Kevin Hood, Director Darcy Zander, Director Kim Adrianson, Director Tyson Fisher, Director Lee McFarlane, and Executive Director Brianna Renwick. Volunteers are very important to any community and organization. The Southwest Cougars AAA Under-18 Hockey Club lost a treasurer, a signing officer, and admission booth worker recently. Sam Phillips' graveside service was held January 12th in Souris with an honor guard of hockey players, Legion and Elks members. He also volunteered his time with minor ball and minor hockey. Sam was named Citizen of the Year for Souris Glenwood in 2014. And finally, Novak Djokovic of Serbia, the #1 ranked tennis player in the world, was deported from Australia, where he had hoped to win his 10th Australian Open tennis event with 128 competitors. He was not vaccinated and had verbally protested its value. All right, next we have the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation supporting Calwood Skating Rink. Woo. We have a nice big picture here. Beautiful Plains Community Foundation presented a check for $5,000 to rural municipality of Rosedale to support the Calwood Skating Rink project. The new rink being built in Calwood is about 80% finished, with the structure completed and just interior finishings left to do. And in this picture we have Brent Sorensen, the board president of the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, the RM of Rosedale councillors, Ron Kostenchuk, Earl Burton, Bruce Flager, Robert Scott, and Reeve Michael Porrick. All right, now an article about public health, no longer contact tracing in schools, by the Neepawa Banner staff. With students back in school after a week of remote learning, the province has announced they are shifting their approach to monitoring COVID-19 in schools. Previously, public health had been contact tracing in schools, notifying families whose children were close contacts to positive cases. Cliff Cullen, the education minister at the time, announced on Thursday, January 13th, that this will no longer be taking place. Instead of focusing on individual cases, schools will now be directed to monitor absenteeism and positive cases self-reported by staff and students. Public health will be keeping track of confirmed cases, reporting the numbers on the online dashboard, and looking for signs of increased transmission in schools. The changes public health has recommended to case and contact management in schools will ensure continued monitoring of the risk in individual schools as we learn to live with the virus, said Cullen. When increased transmission is detected in a school, public health will advise the school on different strategies to mitigate the spread of COVID-19, such as implementing a period of rapid testing for staff and students or reducing high-risk activities. In situations where transmission continues to increase or absenteeism is affecting operations, public health may recommend a 7-day period of remote learning for a class, cohort, or the whole school. The Omicron variant isn't going to go away, and we need to learn to live with the virus. This means adjusting our mindset from trying to contain the virus to trying to mitigate our risk, said Dr. Brent Rusin, Chief Provincial Public Health Officer. If students or staff test positive or suspect they have COVID-19, they are required to isolate and are asked to notify their school. Anyone who was potentially exposed to COVID-19 in school can continue to attend as long as they are asymptomatic. If a staff or student has close contacts within their household, they are encouraged to use rapid testing to monitor for asymptomatic transmission. The benefits of in-person learning can't be understated, from mental and physical health to socialization and supports for families, said Cullen. Schools have done a tremendous amount of work and have measures in place to help reduce the spread of the virus and protect our children. Schools will continue to work with public health to help mitigate the risk of the virus and keep children where they need to be, in the classroom. And now we have a big article on this page entitled Childhood Love Becomes 5-Year Passion by Casper Werhahn. Nicole Sellers' love for dogs began from the very moment she could crawl. Looking back at family photos, she was always playing with the family dog Solar and her puppies. It was this love for animals that set her on the path towards assisting animal rescues. She said, when I was a teenager, I remember going into a pet store in the mall and seeing puppies in the windows, thinking they were so cute. Although they were, that's when I started learning more about where those dogs come from and what backyard breeders were. I was so tired of hearing people say animals you rescue have problems and cost more in vet bills. It encouraged me to dig even more. From there, Sellers began following several dog rescues on social media and learning about overpopulation of dogs in Manitoba and its severity. Sellers noted that many northern communities don't have access to vetting, where animals can be spayed or neutered, one of the top issues. While some vets do work with rescues to do spay and neuter clinics, Sellers explained that it takes just one dog to have a litter and there aren't as many clinics to keep up. As well, many dogs are kept outside or run loose where they may find a female in heat, attracting males and causing them to fight. Those fights can lead to injury or death. When there are roaming dogs reproducing and there are no owners, these dogs grow up to be strays and can start forming packs too. A group of dogs packing can be very dangerous in these communities where ultimately they are doing what they need in order to survive. But it's coming at the cost of death for humans and other animals. She added, I was an EMS dispatcher for 4.5 years and heard many calls about dog bite injuries. This problem snowballs, not only causing physical harm, but making communities unsafe to do physical activities outside or walking home from school for families that may not have a vehicle. While culling has been done on occasion, Sellers told the Banner and Press it sends out the wrong message and is only a temporary solution. After that, it's back to square one. In addition to her research, Sellers gained even more fuel for her passion while on the job. I've been heavily involved in helping animal rescues for just over 5 years now. Positive Pack Animal Rescue, based out of Brandon, took me under their wing as an adoption manager. This is where I helped screen applications and matched adoptable, vetted dogs to their forever home. I then got into helping them raise money for vetting emergencies and fundraisers. When I wanted to do even more, I then went to the communities and began transporting dogs. This was an eye-opener, seeing firsthand where a dog started compared to where they are adopted out. I also really like engaging with the community members, seeing if anyone needs some dog food, wants to surrender their dog, or if there are any animals posing a threat and how I can help. Sellers has helped several other rescues as well, such as Canine Advocates, Winnipeg Pet Rescue Shelter, Heart Hounds Rescue Pound Network, Almost Home Canine Rescue, and Munn and Pearson. All of this has been done as a volunteer while also working full-time as the Recreation and Leisure Administrator for the municipality of Westlake Gladstone. A feat that Sellers admits has its challenges, stating that it is like having two full-time jobs. However, those two jobs appeared to complement each other. She said it takes a lot of patience bringing rescues home and to foster. Some of these animals have never been indoors or had human interaction. Finding fosters is also difficult as there are more animals needing to come in as fosters. So it ends up being one big puzzle to try to solve who can go where and how to get them there. Working in recreation and leisure, I'm out in the community a lot, and I love talking with all of the boards to see what we can work on to get events going. I enjoy taking in the strays, making communities safer so families and individuals can enjoy the outdoors, to be involved in recreation and leisure within their community. She added, rescue also involves educating the public about animal behaviors to understand them more, assisting with spay and neuter clinics, and building trust with connections through the communities. In a way, both of these passions of mine relate to one another. Volunteering also teaches many lessons and can be so rewarding. Right now, Sellers' vision is not to start another rescue, but to continue working with existing rescues by coordinating rescue runs and assisting with fundraisers. To help make this easier, she's saving up for a proper transport vehicle, a 2021 Dodge Ram ProMaster. Sellers explained that she has been using her personal vehicle, an SUV, all these years, and while it has worked, it is unable to fit many animal crates for transportation. The material and typical usage of the vehicle also make it harder to sanitize and keep equipment disinfected. Some of these animals will have fleas, lice, mangy, parvo, and other contagious infections that you have to be careful with. Disinfecting and keeping equipment sanitized in a cargo van is safer than a personal vehicle. The safety features and options are very customizable to a rescue's needs too. To help reach her $58,000 goal for the cargo van, Sellers told the Banner and Press that she is currently applying for grants and planning fundraisers. However, she has also made a GoFundMe that people can donate to if they wish to lend a helping hand. If anyone is wanting to help out or get involved in rescue, please reach out to me by email, or if you would like to donate another way, give me a call, said Sellers. She can be contacted at nicole_sellers@hotmail.com or phoned at 204-476-5420. Her GoFundMe campaign can be found at gofund.me/456EC576. All right. Now for the sports pages. This one is entitled Titans Power Play / Penalty Kill, a Mixed Bag versus Terriers by Owen Devereaux. The pair of recent games against the Portage Terriers could not have been any more diametrically different for the Neepawa Titans, especially when it came to the club's penalty kill and power play efforts. Neepawa was perfect with the man advantage on Friday, January 14th in Portage La Prairie, propelling them to a 2-1 win over the Terriers. Both goals scored by Dallin Wilton were collected on power play opportunities. Even better than that, the Titans played a disciplined 60 minutes, going to the penalty box just once. The following night, both clubs would meet once again, this time in Neepawa at the Yellowhead Arena. On this evening, Neepawa's power play and penalty kill proved to be glaring weaknesses instead of the strengths they'd been just 24 hours earlier. The Titans surrendered 5 goals on 8 penalties on the way to a 6-1 loss. As well, the other goal given up by Neepawa was a shorthanded marker, while the Titans were on a power play. Cameron Trimble scored the only goal for the home team on a power play, but that as the lone bright spot on the night. Neepawa head coach and general manager Ken Pearson said the lack of consistency from one night to the other was frustrating for everyone involved, but they'll need to get past it. He said our neutral zone play was non-existent on Saturday night. Portage's entry into our zone was way too easy. We made it hard for them on Friday night, forced them to dump the puck in, and we didn't do that on Saturday. They scored on 2 rushes for sure. The other 3 goals we allowed them to set up. We just didn't play our system the way we did in Portage. I told the guys at the team meeting on Monday, January 17th, special teams wise, that's probably the worst we have played this season. It was disappointing, but it's just a one-off. We know better. The players know better. It can be easily corrected. We just need to be disciplined out there. Friday night was a much better indicator of what this team could be doing. We were quick and fought for the puck, and that's what we need to be doing again, going into a big weekend against Swan Valley. The Titans must now focus upon the challenge of the Swan Valley Stampeders, who they are chasing in the MJHL's Western Division standings. After a pair of wins in Steinbach over the weekend, the Stamps have jumped over the Titans and Verdun Oil Capitals into 3rd place. Pearson said since those 3 teams are separated by just 1 point in the standings, the players understand the importance of the next 2 weeks, but need to take this one game at a time. Like everyone else, the players are keeping a close eye on the standings. We're just doing what we can to ensure they just break this down, to focus on every single game being a new opportunity. Step 1 is Friday, January 21st in Swan River. Get done Friday and move on to Saturday. The only thing we can control is how well we play and the success we have. Our focus and our concentration is where it needs to be, and that's on Friday night. The Neepawa Titans' next 2 games this weekend will be played in Swan River against the Swan Valley Stampeders. Following that, the Titans return home to Neepawa and will host the Stampeders at the Yellowhead Center on January 28th and the 29th. Neepawa Farmers Split Weekend by Owen Devereaux. The Neepawa Farmers had a pair of road games this past weekend in the Tiger Hills Hockey League. First, the team traveled south to Carberry on January 14th to challenge the Plainsmen. Garrett Rempel had a tremendous night for the visitors, putting up 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists to ultimately lead Neepawa to a 7-2 victory. While Rempel's stat line was the most impressive of the evening, several other members of the team also came up clutch, including Dalen Creasy with 4 assists, Benoit Mowbray, Kyle McDonald, and Braden Gillies, each registering 1 goal, 1 assist. Brad Marshall and David Woolman also scored for the Farmers, while Reese Jones collected the win with a 25-save night in net. Brady Laycock and Zane McConnell each scored goals for Carberry in this game. The next night, the Farmers would be on the road once again, this time to Minnedosa to meet the Bombers. Shane Jury and the rest of the Bombers ended up being just too much to handle, winning by a score of 6-2. Jury had a pair of goals and an assist. Bryson Werbicki Mallet, Derek Cameron, James McCarville, and Logan Robinson also scored for the home team, while Marshall and Corbin Mariash responded for the Farmers. Goaltender Devin Fordyce earned the win for Minnedosa with 22 saves. These 2 results have Neepawa sitting in 2nd place in the Eastern Division with an 8-2-2 regular season record. The next game for the Farmers will be on Tuesday, January 25th against the Cartwright Clippers. Start time at the Yellowhead Arena is set for 8 p.m. And Tiger Hills Hockey League information by Owen Devereaux. The battle for top spot in the Tiger Hills Hockey League's Eastern Division likely won't be decided until the final weekend of the regular season. 6 teams still have viable routes to the top of the standings, as just 5 points divide them. The Gladstone Lakers' recent 6-0 win over Carberry puts them in control of their own fate with 5 games remaining to be played. A pair of those contests are against the Neepawa Farmers and the Minnedosa Bombers, the 2 clubs closest to them within the standings. The Farmers are just 1 point back from Gladstone, while the Bombers are 2 away. Wawanesa, McGregor, and Cartwright, however, are also in the hunt and could make a move with some help with other teams. The remaining schedule and opposition for each of the top 3 teams in the East is as follows. Gladstone Lakers, first place, 12 games played, 9-2-1 with 19 points. Games coming up, January 22nd at Minnedosa, January 28th at Wawanesa, February 2nd at Neepawa, February 4th at Cartwright, and February 5th at Pilot Mound. Neepawa Farmers in second place with 12 games played, 8-2-2 with 18 points. Left to play January 25th versus Cartwright, January 30th versus Wawanesa, February 2nd versus Gladstone, and February 5th at Carberry. A postponed game from January 7th against Cartwright will need to be rescheduled for Neepawa. And the Minnedosa Bombers, who are in third place with the 12 games played, 8-3-1 with 17 points. Left to play January 21st at McGregor, January 22nd versus Gladstone, January 29th versus Carberry, February 4th at Pilot Mound, and February 5th at Cartwright. There we go. All right. Rural Outlook page. Moments in Riding Mountain National Park. Hail, hail, the mob's all here, by Ken Kingdon. Things were going gangbusters in the bird world this month. On 2 different occasions over the span of a week, I watched birds forming a gang to confront something they were afraid of. The first event caught my ear when I noticed a couple of magpies calling in the backyard. This is not entirely unusual, of course, so I only paid half a mind to the ruckus. However, their calls were soon joined by the squawks of blue jays. This really made my ears perk up. When magpies and blue jays join forces, you just know that they are up to no good. I quietly walked down the backyard path, expecting the calls to end and the birds to disperse. This did not happen. I could see several jays and a pair of magpies gathered around a central point, a short brownish-gray stump about 30 centimeters off the ground. It took the retrieval of my binoculars from the house for me to realize that it wasn't a stump that was the center of attention. Rather, a northern hawk owl was trying its best to have a snooze in the sunlight. While they will kill grouse from time to time, northern hawk owls are normally small mammal hunting specialists and aren't likely to take small birds as prey. However, I guess from the perspective of my backyard birds, you can never be too careful. So a mobbing event ensued. Perhaps it was the tone of their calls or else just the persistent noise, but the result was that the magpies and blue jays called in all sorts of reinforcements. Soon there was black-capped chickadees, evening grosbeaks, redpolls, white-breasted nuthatches, and a woodpecker had joined the mob. In total, there were at least 50 birds hanging around. The magpies, being just about as big as the owl and hence in little danger of becoming victims, soon got bored and moved on. However, the blue jays and black-capped chickadees were in full Twitter mode. In what looked like a game of dare, they would land as close to the owl as they could, calling and fluttering about. I assume the goal was to scare it away, and they definitely looked nervous. Kind of like a gang of kindergartners swarming a grade 3 bully. Admittedly, the grosbeaks were a bit more circumspect, and it seemed like they were just hanging around for the entertainment, watching the game of tag that the other birds were engaged in. After about half an hour, the birds decided to move along, since the owl was diligently ignoring them. I checked on it from time to time, and the owl appeared to slip deep into sleep, undisturbed for the rest of the afternoon. A week later, I was once again attracted to the sound of blue jays squawking. This time, the jays were doing a solo act, as no other bird species joined in. However, the blue jays made up for the lack of diversity by the sheer number in attendance. There were more than 40 blue jays hanging about, which I suspect was the most of the blue jays in the area. Unlike my previous experience, I couldn't see the object of their fear. They appeared to be very focused on an old woodpecker hole high in an aspen. Whatever was in the hole certainly held their attention, as they would hop down a nearby tree branch, peer intently into the hole, then immediately leap into the air, screeching in alarm. Even with my binoculars, I could not detect their foe. Based on the tracks in the area, though, I suspect that it was a weasel. Long-tailed weasels, the largest of the 3 weasels in our area, are agile tree climbers, so I'm betting that this was who was holed up inside the aspen. It would have been interesting to see what the weasel had done to attract attention. While weasels will try to catch lots of prey, large and small, I don't think blue jays in general would be on their list, given that jays are fast, alert, and smart. Perhaps the weasel had been spotted running up the tree, and the blue jays decided to spend some time harassing it, which does point to the nature of mobbing. Considering there was no real threat to the blue jays, you might think that they are engaged in an altruistic activity, looking after their smaller bird friends. Personally, I doubt it, as blue jays are more than happy to eat eggs and nestlings from their little friends' nests during the spring. Maybe, on the other hand, mobbing predators, large and small, is just in their DNA. After all, you never know what will kill you, and having friends around when you are doing something dangerous is always nice. At the very least, they can call the ambulance for you if you should happen to get just a little too close to that bully. Ken Kingdon lives in Onanol. Send him a text at 204-848-5020 if you have nature observations you would like to share. Now, charges have been laid against an RCM officer involved in a vehicle collision near Minnedosa. An RCMP officer has been charged with driving offenses by the Independent Investigations Unit, or IIU, following an investigation into a vehicle collision last fall. The collision involved an on-duty officer and members of the public. It occurred on September the 10th, 2021, at the intersection of Highway 16 and Municipal Road 103 near Minnedosa. According to the RCMP report of the incident at the time, the officer involved was a member of the Spruce Plains RCMP detachment. The IIU issued a statement noting that the IIU has determined there are reasonable grounds to believe an offense occurred under the Highway Traffic Act. The officer has been issued a ticket for careless driving and performing a U-turn where not permitted. The RCMP report of the incident explained that there were 2 police vehicles on duty there that day, 1 marked vehicle and 1 unmarked, parked on the south side of Highway 16 facing east. The officers saw a westbound vehicle committing a driving offense, so the unmarked RCMP vehicle attempted to pull a U-turn to pursue the vehicle, but was struck by an eastbound vehicle in the process. The driver and passenger of the eastbound vehicle, as well as the driver of the unmarked RCMP vehicle were transported to hospital. Both drivers were released quickly, however. The passenger of the eastbound vehicle remained in hospital for a few days with non-life-threatening injuries. The marked RCMP vehicle was reported to have an onboard camera, which helped the IIU with its investigation. Manitoba Pork, CAP, welcome MLA Derek Johnson to agriculture portfolio. Public reaction has been swift and positive for Manitoba's new Minister of Agriculture. On Tuesday, January 18th, Premier Heather Stefanson announced a new progressive conservative government cabinet with 17 ministers. This shuffle includes Derek Johnson, the MLA for Interlake Gimli, taking over the Ag Minister role. Several farming groups quickly reacted to the announcement. Manitoba Pork congratulated Johnson on his appointment. They also noted via press release that Johnson brings a wealth of experience in business and municipal government to his new role. Manitoba Pork added that they look forward to continuing a strong working relationship with the provincial government. Manitoba Pork and pork producers across the province welcome Minister Johnson to his new portfolio, said Rick Preget, chair of Manitoba Pork. He said 14,000 Manitobans depend on the hog sector for their living each and every day, and we look forward to working collaboratively with the minister on issues that impact both our sector and agriculture as a whole, particularly as we continue to deal with the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on prominent pieces of our sector like labor and the chain supply. Manitoba Pork also recognized the contributions of Minister Ralph Eichler as he leaves his ministerial role. Ralph should be commended for all that he has done for agriculture and for his passion in supporting our industry, and our industry is deeply thankful for his service to our province. We wish him nothing but the best in the next phase of his elected life and thank him for his dedicated service to agriculture in our province and to the people he has served. Manitoba Pork will be reaching out to Minister Johnson in the coming days to set up an introductory meeting. Another farming organization that reacted to the cabinet shift was Keystone Agricultural Producers, or CAP. Bill Campbell, CAP president, congratulated Johnson on his appointment. As the MLA for Interlake Gimli and as a former municipal councillor, Minister Johnson understands the challenges facing Manitoba's agricultural industry, and we look forward to working with him, said Campbell. CAP also thanked Ralph Eichler, outgoing Minister of Agriculture and Resource Development. And here we have a couple of beautiful pictures of the outdoors. Feeling stir-crazy from winter and pandemic life? Local trail and park volunteers are encouraging people to get out and explore the magic of winter walking. There are lots of trails in the Neepawa area, including the Rosedale Farm Trail, pictured right here. It's located 5 miles west of Eden on Provincial Road 265. Another option is the Langford Neepawa Winter Park, where the ladies in the top right photo were enjoying a winter walk on one of their newly designed trails. The winter park can be found about 5 miles east of Neepawa, just off Highway 16. The Langford recreational trails are another option, just a few miles further east of the winter park and about 3 miles south of Highway 16. There are lots of options, not only for walking, but also snowshoeing and cross-country skiing for all levels of skill and fitness. Now, we have enough time to read a little bit more, so I'll first talk about Rita Friesen's article, "And for No Good Reason." One of my goals has been to try to improve my sleep pattern. That could be plural, patterns, for I have been known to gently doze off while watching the news. Mainly, it is the night sleep that is interrupted, fragmented, and lacking. One of the ways of achieving this goal has been to set aside my affection for and attention to a mindless social media game. Let's just say I have crushed 10,000 levels of candy over a 10-year period. I said to myself firmly with intent that when I achieved that level or the new year began, whichever came first, I would set aside the game. And I did, with no regrets. My sleep has improved, not near perfect, but improved. This morning, sleep departed at 5 of the morning, left the building completely. I was not worried, upset, or planning any great event. I was simply all done sleeping for no good reason. What does one do at 5 in the morning? Well, Miss Daisy leapt from her bed, anticipating an early morning feed. Right after the successful foray outside, she garnered her reward and headed right back to bed and sound asleep. I, on the other hand, one who normally can return to bed and catch another round of rest, was truly wide awake. A little early for the routine, but I started my coffee, and with the wonder of the French press method of brewing the elixir, I now had a reason to be awake. One of the ways I have found to use my former game time is to write letters. Not the handwritten ones I treasure, for my writing lacks finesse and legibility. I use the script font on my computer, simply signing my name, and there is an immediate understanding on the part of the receiver and a deep appreciation for why the letter is typed, not handwritten. Many years ago, I was a letter writer, had pen pals even. I loved receiving letters and recognized that one should write one to receive one. More people I care about have received quick text messages, emails, and even phone calls. It is a good feeling to reflect on the impact and influence that so many people have had on and in my life, and express appreciation for them to them. So after a mindless time watching videos with my bracing coffee, I am ready to write letters and plan the day. The other way I have been using my time is to go back to quilting. When we faced our first lockdown, was that really just 2 years ago? I completed many quilts of varying sizes and was able to give them all away. I have now found a pattern for a sampler quilt that I really want to make. 15 quilt blocks that all contained messages from those using the Underground Railway. Checking my fabric supply, I know I want new patterns for this project, but I have too many scraps not to make more scrap quilts, so I am doing that. Sleepless at 5, lots to do, so I guess there is a reason. Don't have to like it though. Okay. Beating the January Blahs, Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroshine. According to the website psychcentral.com, January 24th is thought to be the most depressing day of the year. That's when the bills come from our Christmas generosity. That's when they arrive and need to be paid. The resolutions we made at the beginning of the year will, by this time, probably have either been broken, forgotten, or both. And the weather, as we all know, can be dark, dreary, and cold. Any one of these things can make us feel sad, and occasionally do. Financial worries like the ones we can get when January bills arrive often produce unique anxieties and fears, and once the Christmas decorations have been put away and outdoor lights turned off, a drive around town isn't as exhilarating as it was before Christmas. In most of us, these feelings of despondency soon disappear, but for some the symptoms can be ongoing. They may never require medication to control them, and the one suffering them may never have to be hospitalized, but they are disruptive and can cause significant stress to those suffering them and to their loved ones. This is what I have experienced for several years. So this year, as I began to feel the onset of these symptoms, I made some choices that are helping me cope with them. First, to look for something positive in the world around me. Sometimes the only positive thing I see is that the sun sets 1 minute later today than it did yesterday. But most of the time, I see so much that I am deeply moved by what I see. This helps to make each day go by much easier. Second, to work on projects that will have a positive impact on my life and work. For this, I have chosen one learning project on a topic I want to know more about, one new skill that I would like to learn, and one major project on which I would either like to make significant progress or complete. Third, to take life one day at a time and deal with each day's challenges as they come. The current pandemic has taught me one very important lesson. The things I need to do each day will get done, not always when I want them to, but they will get done. Being flexible and allowing for occasional interruptions to my day isn't easy for me, but it is something that I'm asking God to help me continue to develop. There are many things in my life that I cannot control. In dealing with these, I choose to follow the advice of King David as found in Psalm 37. I commit them to God. I release my worries and cares over these things to God. Then, and this takes great faith on my part, I trust God to watch over the people and issues I have committed to Him. Then I go about my day, looking about the responsibilities I have to my work and my family. I find that when I do this, my mind isn't as cluttered, and I am better able to focus on the tasks before me each day. And while completing them, I am able to look and appreciate the positive things I see in life. Thanks to these choices, my days are more productive, and I can go through them with less stress. Making these choices is easy, so is sharing them with you. Following them is a day-to-day challenge. This strategy works for me. I hope my experience can help you. So that is time up for the reading of the Neepawa Banner and Press this week. Thank you for joining us and hope to see you next week. Bye for now.